Welcome, everyone. You're watching Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show. My name is Christian Karasevich, CEO and founder of socialchefs.com, and we have a fantastic show for you this week. This is episode 177. We've got guests Tamara McDuff on and Phil Gerbishak. I'm going to go ahead and say a quick hello. We're going to bring Phil on, then we're going to bring Tamara, and we've got some fantastic topics we want to talk to you about. But I'm actually really excited because this week's guest, she specializes in social media for funeral homes, and I know this could be a touchy subject for people. So I'm here's the thing: like when you work in a different industry in social media, what you learn in one industry does not always apply to the other industry. So I'm just going to say a quick hello. Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. We also have a Facebook watch party going as well, but if you're watching, do us a favor, hit that share button, invite your friends, because again, this is a show for you. It's not for us, it's for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring Phil on. Phil, how are you doing today?
Hey, Christian, what's up, man? It's good to see you.
Great to
Happy
see you
Thursday.
as well. So tell us about this week's guest. We've got Tamara McDuff, right?
Yeah, Tamara's fantastic. So I've known her online for a while now, and she is an expert in the funeral home industry. So people are working with her in their time of greatest need after they've lost a loved one. She's in Rochester, New York. Nice. She is fantastic in the social media side for the funeral home industry. Her business is now digitalmarketing.us. You can check her out there, and she's just really smart. I'm really excited that she's here with us today.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and bring her on. I'm going to run a couple of things behind the scenes, have you introduce her, and then we'll get right into this week's topics. So Tamara, great to have you on the show.
Hi guys, thank you. It's great to be here.
Woohoo! Glad you're here.
I'm excited.
Good. So good to see you. Glad you're here. So tell us, how did you get interested in the funeral home industry? The family business or loss of loved one or all the above?
All of the above. My grandfather started our family funeral home about 60 years ago. And so I grew up in it. We lived above the funeral home for a little bit. And so my brother and I had to be quiet between calling hours, 2 to 4, 7 to 9. So those were the longest hours of my whole entire life. I couldn't fight with my brother. But I've grown up in it. I worked in it. I went to school for it. And then I went off and started my digital marketing, taught myself social media. And I'm like, you guys are more than obituaries. Let me show you how we can do this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, we're so glad that you're here. We're so glad you're going to share some insights today. We've got some great topics and some cool tools that we're going to share. So we always at least like to make the first topic kind of our guest choice. So what would you like to talk about today, Tamara? Would you like to talk? We got some Facebook, we got a little Periscope, and we got some Twitter. So which would you like to start with today?
Let's start with, I like Twitter because I don't understand this new feature.
Okay.
So,
cool.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but I'm not sure it's going to do what they think it's going to do, because if the original tweeter is a bot, that's still not going to help you decide what's fake news and what's not.
Very interesting. So Christian, bring that one up, man. So Twitter launched this week the Track the Original Tweeter, which is, their whole goal here is to eliminate fake news. That's the bottom line of this. In front of the elections in India, they want to get in front of this, and they want to make it so that the original source of something can be tracked down. So with that, though, I think, Tamara, you made a really good point there. How do we know if it's a bot? But let's talk about how businesses, first of all, might be able to benefit from this. Is there any way that you see the funeral home folks that you work with or anybody benefiting from this feature?
I guess actually they might be able to, because there are no original ideas out there, but every time we share something, you want to be able to be the one to say, I'm the one that brought that to the party. And by having that original tweeter tag, I think they might be able to figure out how to leverage that they first talked about it. And then it kind of went on from there. Other people took their idea or expanded on it, or, but that's where it originally came from. Because right now, all you can do is say that you did it first and people have to believe you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. That's so true. So, Christian, what about you, buddy? You see where you are? You're overseas. How's this going to impact? How's this going to impact y'all?
So I don't actually think this is going to impact us much, and the reason being is a lot of people here just don't use Twitter. You have a lot of politicians here that are using it. Things actually they work actually vastly different here. So a lot of people, they're not using Twitter. They basically, if they see something in a lot of places, they'll just copy it basically because copyright laws are also very different. So just any of that kind of thing that we're used to back in the States, it doesn't necessarily apply overseas.
That's interesting. That's a good point. And the other challenge is just because it says original tweeter doesn't mean that if somebody copies and pastes your text necessarily that you're not going to be the original tweeter. I mean, if you and I send something at the same time, how do we know who's original and who's copying, right?
Right.
I don't know. There's not a lot there. Christian, what are you thinking, buddy? You got something to say?
I think overall, I'm glad they're actually doing this in a way because a lot of times I think that this is actually going to help from an influencer standpoint, because if somebody, for instance, tweets this, you can actually track it back to who it was. For example, I'll use that whole, how many of you remember the Instagram egg that apparently, so that particular piece of content, for example, people are trying to, deduce who was it that started this. And they've been able to piece a lot of the puzzle together. But I think this is going to be a great, I think overall this is going to help people really kind of get to the bottom of who actually started something versus, everybody kind of saying, hey, me first, because everybody, here's the thing, anybody you talk to pretty much nowadays that has a YouTube channel, the first thing they say is, hey, how do I get somebody to sponsor me? And they're already thinking down the road, they want it to be an influencer really of sorts or whatever that really means. So I think this is going to be a good way to kind of like separate, who actually started something versus who didn't.
Yeah, well, let's hope so, right? Let's hope that it's all about tracking down the original source and not just an opportunity to be like it used to be on Slashdot, where the first comment would always be first, second.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's junk. So let's hope it leads to more creativity and not to less.
Yeah.
So, but
and just a couple of notes about this. So this is only rolling out right now to a handful of people on iOS and Android. And it's also applying a tag. So I'm interested to see if the tagging feature is something that, might be something that Twitter's going to play with in addition to, like, say, the original tweeter. So so that's it for Twitter tagging the top tweeter.
Cool.
I guess they're testing this, and they're testing the whole edit button, finally doing some, putting some basic things into Twitter that people kind of need, been asking for years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So where do y'all want to go next, by the way?
Oh, well, you just talked about editing, man. I think we should go to the Facebook Messenger thing.
Yeah.
Facebook is now letting us possibly delete our messages so that, so that if we say something to the wrong people, we don't say the wrong thing. Like this morning, I'm going to say good morning to Joanne Kroll, who's with us. But let's pretend that Joanne sent us a private message, and then I replied to somebody else and said, hey, good morning, Joanne. And it's like, no, I'm not Joanne. I'm Phil, right? Why would you do that? So I think that's an interesting feature. It does allow us to kind of go back. I've been able to do that on my text messages. If we're in iOS, if we're all iMessage, I can do that. But I haven't been able to do that in Messenger. So I think this is cool. What do you think, Tamara? Is this a good feature, a bad feature?
I think it's a good feature. I'm always sticking my foot in my mouth and, stuff like that. So for me, it's good. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But, maybe I'll send you stuff about, the Super Bowl or something like that. And then I'll delete it so that you don't see that, I actually wanted the Rams to win. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Or try to figure out why Tom Brady's a GOAT. I don't understand that, but so we can I'm looking forward to it. For all those times that I might message my ex-husband or something and then say, "Oops, I didn't mean to do that."
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I think this, for your industry especially, Tamara, if you accidentally send the message to the wrong family, you could really tip stuff over and really, really hurt some people.
You can, and Yeah, and the funeral homes, they're not quite getting into the whole bot thing on Messenger yet, or using Messenger a lot yet, but they are slowly coming along. And so I could definitely see where this would be a really good feature for them, if they added the wrong link to the obituary for the family, for example, or their book of memories, or they put the wrong condolence thing into the wrong family thing and calling it back. There could be a lot of use for that once they get into it. Absolutely.
Cool. Christian, what about you, buddy? What are you thinking on this?
I think this is very useful. This is a feature that is actually, so we talked about this last week on the show. We talked about how Facebook was looking to merge Messenger and Instagram and WhatsApp. And this actually suggests to me that this is another feature I think that will, well, I mean, obviously we know they're merging everything. This is a feature that's coming directly from WhatsApp. Because, for example, like with WhatsApp right now, you can go in, you can remove or delete a message for everyone or just yourself within the WhatsApp application. Now, in Messenger, they're getting the same feature. So this might be starting to pave the way for that merger that they're talking about on all those different messaging platforms. I think overall, this is a fantastic feature, especially for a business who might accidentally send something. I think in Tamara's case, I think this is great because, you know, like you mentioned, like sometimes somebody might accidentally send a message. It might send the wrong link. You have up to 10 minutes after sending the message to go in and delete it. So I think that this is a very, very, very useful tool for any business. It could be, for example, maybe you accidentally send somebody, you know, the wrong email address, you send them the wrong coupon or promo code, you send them along the wrong link to your product. In Tamar's case, you send them the wrong obituary, which, you know, as you can see, all those things have repercussions for your business, you know, and not in positive ways in most cases. So I think it's a very useful feature to have.
So I got a question though. So you mentioned the delete for just me. Why would I delete a message in a conversation for just me when everybody else can see it? I can't really see a use for that.
That's a good question, actually. I think sometimes, let's see. I mean, maybe it's to hide a negative memory. I'm not sure really. I'm not really why I'd want to do remove for just you, because if I accidentally share something, I probably want to remove it for everyone, and not just myself.
Yeah.
So, the one thing this does actually kind of raise a question, I think, might be what if somebody is doing something that's maybe against the law or that type of thing, and then they, for instance, let's say I send something to Phil, and then I'm like, oh, let me remove this for you, remove this for myself. I think that actually might be a use case for this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You basically remove it. Somebody says, hey, let me see your Facebook messages. They don't see that you've removed it for yourself necessarily. They don't see what's there. But yet, hey, it was somehow sent to somebody else.
Neener, right? So is this for people having affairs, right? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, right? I mean, if somebody's showing this to their significant other and they delete the messages and they're still there, it's like, that's fascinating, right? I mean, there's a court of law. Are they going to go through the whole discovery period just to find out that, that Christian sent me a picture of his wiener, right? I mean, is that going to happen? I don't know, right? So that's interesting. I think, I don't know how that's going to work, but that's one of the features. So I'm curious, folks, if you're listening to this, if there's a way that you think, let us know in the comments how you think this might happen. Tamara, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say that, just because I wonder if this is going to work similar to your cell phones when you delete the text messages, because just because the text messages are deleted, if your phone is involved in a police investigation, they'll just get the dump from the phone company. And so it stays in the database and they can still see your text messages and still get the evidence, whatever it is that they need. And so I'm just wondering how those implications are going to carry over into the Facebook platform.
Yeah, good question.
Very, very, very good questions. And this is, by the way, a very easy feature to use. All you have to do is make sure you're using the latest version of Facebook Messenger. So if you're not sure, just go to the iOS or Android App Store, update your app. And then when you send somebody a message in Facebook Messenger, if you want to remove it, just tap on that message. It'll bring up the option to copy, to remove, or to forward to select remove, as you can see in the screen here. And then you can choose if you want to remove for everyone or just for you. And at that point, it will remove it from the Facebook Messenger conversation thread.
Cool. Well, potentially useful. Pay attention to this, folks. I don't know. Christian, do you remember, as it rolled out to everybody, or is they were slow rolling this like everything else?
This one should be to everyone, actually.
Cool. Awesome. So give it a shot, folks. Let us know what you think. And if you have other ideas for ways that this could be used or anything like that, sign up for our daily email at socialchefs.com/daily so you can get an opportunity to test this out and then give us some feedback. Of course, we like feedback best here on Facebook so we can all learn together. But absolutely, if you're interested, sign up at socialchefs.com/daily so you can check out the stuff here. Now, we've got some folks on. C. Sakan is on with us. Good evening, C. We're glad to see you. Hopefully all is well, and hopefully we will be, we have a new feature that we're going to talk about on Periscope really soon that maybe they're going to bring on for us with BeLive so we could see some people in other parts of the world. So, Christian, let's go there. Let's talk about what's shaking in Periscope.
So this is a very useful feature, I think. I actually want to say that this might have actually beat Facebook Live to the punch. But basically, if you're on Twitter and you're using Periscope still, you can now bring in a guest into your show. And this is pretty fantastic, especially for talk shows or if you want to just have some discussions. Super, super, super useful feature here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we could bring in a guest, right, somebody who's got something smart to add without necessarily sharing the link to it, and just bring them in because we see that they're there, quick double tap, bring them on the show. That could be super duper useful, or that could be on a customer site. If we think about Facebook Messenger, almost like sucking them in. Hey, let me help you in real time now, that we could do that, or help you out on the page. That could be really, really useful. So, Tamara, do you see that your industry could use this as well?
I do, because everybody's mobile now. And so dealing with families who live in other states or in other countries, but still want or need to be a part of the funeral arrangements or want to be part of the ceremonies or whatever it is the family is doing, having something like this and being able to just bring people on to help immediately, it just adds to their customer service, so to speak, and how they can serve families and answer questions in real time.
Yeah, really interesting to be able to do that. We could bring, Fiona on. Fiona just mentioned about data retention in the last one. Well, we could have brought her on and seen what she had to say. And if she's already got it, right, this could be a really interesting conversation. It's nice that we can bring on her comment, but we might not be able to actually, bring her on, and she might have more to say than just a couple words, or she might be camera shy, in which case we bring her on and she might be like, whoa, and now she jumps out of the live stream because we're trying to, force her to be on camera. I don't know. That it could be very interesting. So, Christian, what do you think, bud?
So I think overall, this is a very, very, very useful feature, but I do want to make sure that we tell viewers this. So right now, guests can only join using their microphone. They're working on being able to add the ability to share video, but I like the idea of this because, for example, if you want to bring somebody into a show, it's almost like a call-in, basically. So this will give you the ability, as Tamara mentioned, it's, people are going mobile. It's like being able to call in, for instance, to a show, for instance, to a radio show or to a broadcast, that you might be used to. Now adding in the ability to do video, I think would be a very fantastic feature. But this overall, I think this is a very, very good feature because it will also help you improve your engagement on the content you're sharing. Because, instead of just saying, hey, like right now, what we do when we do BeLive, Facebook Lives for Social Chatter here, we have to look through the comments and we see, hey, Fiona's here, or we see Sakan, or we see Joanne Kroll, for instance, we make sure we mention them, but it'd be great to be able to bring them on and have them, liven up the show, share a couple of tips and whatnot, in addition to being able to just highlight them on the show, because, hey, they shared a comment. So I think this is going to be a good feature if they can get this to roll out and add some video to it.
Yeah.
Isn't this kind of like what Blab used to be? Mm-hmm. Is this similar to what Blab was? Because I liked watching Blab. I used to follow a bunch of people on there, and they would be able to put people into like the hot seat, for example. So if somebody wanted to come on to have a face-to-face, they would be in the audience and they had the ability to do that.
Absolutely. No, that it's so funny you say that because that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, Twitter was all slagging on Blab, like, oh, this is stupid. Well, hey, now you're doing it. So it's, yeah, it's really, really interesting. But yeah, always be camera ready. Fiona mentions that, and she talks about how there's been people naked running in the background of Facebook Lives. We also remember that, or the, Periscopes or Meerkats or Blabs or whatever, right? We also had that one where the man's child was running through the background as well. That went pretty viral, I think, on CNN. So lots of opportunities, but Fiona says it best, always be camera ready. Really important. Always be camera ready. So Tim Burrows is with us today. He was thinking about that too with Blab. So yeah, great point, Tamara. So Christian, were you a blabber? Just got to know, and then we can go back on the next stuff.
I was actually. That's how we started the show. So Vincent Orlick and I started right around the time of Blab, and the show kind of just taken off since then. We built it into what it is today. But yeah, we loved Blab. A lot of people that are a lot of marketers really liked Blab, and just how easy it was to use, and how there was a lot of interaction and the ability to bring in somebody directly into a live video. I think that was that I think is actually one of the missing pieces for most live video platforms, is the ability to bring in guests live on your show.
Yeah,
that's somewhere.
Well, when we use Zoom, Christian, we should test that out, because with Zoom, I can bring people in and out. And I've done that actually when I host the National Speakers Association VIP suite once a month. We often will bring people on, and it makes it way easier. But I will say this, if you're going to do that, you need a moderator, or you need to know that your stream is kind of going to stop while you monkey around to make sure that they get in, because it's totally imperfect right now. It's not seamless like I'd like it to be, but it's still pretty slick. I mean, I can one-click a button, right-click, add you as a panelist, bring you on, you turn your camera on, and holy crap, you're in the show. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So pretty slick. Maybe we'll test that out. So maybe we'll have a free-for-all session here on Social Chefs. Christian, we've got a couple of things that we're thinking about bringing up, and we're going to have a special session probably next week, folks. If you're interested in some of the changes that aren't industry specific, but impact everybody, just stay tuned. We're going to announce that. Make sure you sign up at socialchef.com/daily so you can get those updates, because we're going to make that announcement there. It'll be very soon. Christian and I are coordinating the final details, but look for that next week, actually, with some big changes that have happened in social media.
So where do we want to go next, by the way? I'm looking forward to next week's session. We've got some great topics this week. Where do we want to go?
Well, because I got to scooch a little early, let's move to tool time, Christian, and let's drop the other stuff, because we've got a ton of news for you, folks. We've got more Twitter news. We've got some other stuff that's really going to be impactful for you. You'll get that in the email. You'll get that on the blog. Christian does a great job of writing the update for you on Friday, so you can also connect to Tamara and get more of her stuff. She's at nowdigitalmarketing.us. But let's move to tool time. Let's move to tools. So we know that tools help enable us, and tools are only as good as what you do with them, but we like to introduce tools that are new or new to us. So Tamara, left hand or right hand, which one do you want today? Which one?
Let's go left. That's what I do.
That's it. Go left. Yeah, no doubt. So Christian, you bring up a tool now. If you aren't familiar with Tamara, her whole thing is she helps people's left turns feel right with Now Digital Marketing. Often things are very different in her space. So if you're looking for help like that, Tamara can absolutely help you. So Christian, that means you get to pick the tool, buddy. What do you got?
So let's start with Lensa.
Lensa.
So this is an iOS app, and what it does is basically it's helping you save you time by auto retouching your photos, such as selfies, any sort of photo where you need, for instance, maybe a good headshot, that sort of thing. You could also use the bokeh effect, which is basically blurring the background of your photo to give it a really neat effect. So if you're not using, for instance, an iPhone with the dual camera setup, this is some fantastic software that you can use to automate a lot of your process.
Awesome. So now I can be extra pretty, Christian? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You could do some skin smoothing if you want to. We can add some accents to your eyes, give you a more natural look. But yes, fantastic, handy app to actually keep in your toolbox.
More fake news. I don't know. This means I'm going to look even more plasticky. I don't know that I like this. Tamara, what do you think?
I don't drink the Apple Kool-Aid, so I don't understand any of the iOS stuff, but I think it's really cool because when I take selfies, that's where I really need help, is editing some of those selfies. Our selfie sessions are a mess. People feel sorry for us and just ultimately take the picture for us when we're out. But so yeah, you can see what I mean next week, Phil. So it'll be
so funny.
It'll be fun, but I like editing software, and I know Android has a couple of ones, but I like it. I think it has, especially for people who use their selfies all the time. This is very helpful. It would be very helpful for businesses if businesses were using it, taking their pictures on their iPhone, like for funeral homes when they take pictures of the flowers and stuff for the families. They don't necessarily post those on social, but they could use them to download and put them into the emails to email to the family, so the family remembers what the floral arrangement is with the floral card and who sent it. So it's got some, I think it's got some business use too.
Cool. That's pretty nice. So Christian, what are you thinking, dude?
So what I'm thinking here, regardless, iPhone, Android, doesn't really matter. I'm looking at more, what is going to help me improve the quality of my photos. In this case, if you're not good at retouching, for instance, give it a try. See what it can actually do for you. I think it's a free app, actually. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's a free app. Or sorry, let me rephrase. It's a freemium app. So it's a free app. If you want their premium options, it starts at $4.99 a month. If you take a lot of photos, for instance, this can be a great way. If you want to get in the business of creating headshots, for example, this could be a great app to actually use. To help
Absolutely.
you do all this right from your mobile device. And the mobile device part's the key thing, I think, here. You can use this and you can, really get a lot of utility out of it from your mobile device, and don't have to wait till, hey, I got to get back to my laptop, or I got to spend, thousands of dollars on software. That's where I see a lot of value.
Come on, you mean you don't take selfies with your laptop, the laptop camera? What's up with that, Christian? I mean, come on, man. Right?
There you go, Phil. Just like that.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for them to improve webcams. I mean, webcams have not improved in years. And, it's like the only time I actually use my built-in webcam is when I just need to do a simple test. I don't want to add my external webcam because, they're just bad. So
yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And Fiona makes a good point here. She doesn't like the way that we encourage our teens to overly airbrush themselves. I would say everybody. I mean, I have some friends that I know that they're in their 50s. And sadly, if you look at their pictures, they look like they're in their 20s. It's like, that's like false advertising. When I see you in person, I love you for your wrinkles. It's okay. Now, that being said, I know the only way that my pictures are going to get better is if we have a better subject. So I need to stop taking selfies and find other people to put in my pictures. Because it's just not helping anybody. I'm just saying. So let's not do that. Airbrushing or not, it doesn't help me. So yeah.
No, not all. So that's tool number one for the week, by the way. And then the second tool we have is a tool called Rafflecopter, and this actually piggybacks on an app a piece of software we talked about last week, which was ShortStack. So we talked about ShortStack last week as being a way to create landing pages for your business, to collect email addresses, to run giveaways and contests. So on the right here, this is actually an example of a Rafflecopter giveaway. Basically, here's the thing. When you run a giveaway, you shouldn't have to do all of the work necessarily for the giveaway. And that is creating the landing page, creating the giveaway, coming up with the rules, creating all the instructions that people have to do. And then, you got to tally all the people that have entered the giveaway and figure out who's going to win. So this app does nearly all of that for you. It's fantastic. It can be embedded on a website. It can be embedded on a landing page, pretty much wherever you want to make it easy for you to run giveaways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so interesting. I mean, if you do have a giveaway, make sure that you stay within the rules. Use a tool like Rafflecopter to really help you, because the last thing you want is to run a program and then get your stinking account banned.
Right.
That would be bad. So, Tamara, I'm curious, do they run contests in the funeral home space at all? I mean, do you get a free, free touch up on your makeup if you spend over $1,000 or something, or how might you think this work?
No, they don't. I don't know. It might work, especially if there's any, I know some funeral directors are starting to write books. And so if they had a book that they wanted to put into the hands of the community, maybe, but running contests and stuff like that, because in the funeral industry, you got to walk that fine line about helping the community and following some of the trends. It's really, contests aren't really something that they do, though I've seen some people try, but I don't think they got really good results with it. So
yeah, I can't imagine how that might work. That being said, it's possible that you could have people that sign into the guest book that maybe they each get, maybe they get something extra, right? Maybe it's a upgrade of their flower bouquet or something like that, or an extra hour, a visitation or something.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I mean, if I sat down and brainstormed, we probably could come up with something, that it would work. It's just, it's not an overwhelming strategy right now, which can work to some people's advantage. If you're first, sometimes if you're first, it's great. And other times, it's not. So it can go either way. But I think these things are very interesting. And I like anything that's going to do most of the work for me. Because I am technology challenged. So something like this that'll set up the landing page and pick the winners, and just like what Christian was saying, where now I don't have to think too much. I just have to come up with the content and create the write-up and create the giveaway, and then I can put it all into this software or app or whatever it is, this tool, and then it'll run it for me and keep me in line with the law so that I don't get banned or taken down.
Awesome.
In addition to this, you can also, like, as you can see here, you can run quite a few different things in the giveaway or the contest. For example, you can do one-click random winners. You can have the data for the people who enter exported. You get people that can do unlimited entries. It can be embedded on your website. You can tie in some social proof as well, or some social media aspects to this. For example, encouraging people to tweet about the giveaway, having the ability to join an email list. For example, if you have your own email list and you're looking to build your list, you can put that in there. You can also use it, like I said, to actually get feedback. So you could ask somebody, for example, maybe have them answer a certain question, something about your business. So you can use that feedback to help improve your business while serving your customers. But fantastic tool. It's available to sign up for free. And if you want to add certain features, for example, if you want polls and surveys, priority support, that type of thing, it's $13 a month. Then increases to $43 a month for one-click email integration, as well as $84 if you want. They have like a viral refer a friend option, but it's a really good, useful tool for running contests.
Wow. Yeah. Good stuff there. Well, getting back to the previous app, Joanne and Fiona are trying to tell us that they're not in their 20s, Christian. They join us every week. I don't think that's true. So friends, don't lie to us about your age. We'll find you. We know that you're in your 20s. It's perfectly fine. No filters required. So it's good. So no filters on any of us today. If you've watched the show before, this is unfiltered, uncensored, real talk about social media, and we hope you enjoy it. If you have a suggestion for us, drop it in the comments or sign up at socialchefs.com/daily so you can give us direct feedback. If you don't want to smack us around in public, you can do that privately. Of course, I've got a big ego, so Christian reads all those, and only the good ones does he share with me. So that's socialchefs.com/daily, and you can talk back to us and let us know what you think. We're glad you're here. So, Tamara, this went so fast. We covered 3 topics and 2 tools. So tell us more about your business and how people can get in touch with you.
Oh, well, they can connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, thanks to Phil. And I'm on Twitter at Tamara McDuff. So, and also my funeral social page is it's going to be filled with more ideas on not just funeral homes, but information for families to take to their funeral directors and say, hey, can we do this? Because when I've gone through some losses and I had people come up to me and they're talking to me about funeral options, and I would turn to my local funeral directors and I'm like, they need to be coming to you. So that's the community where we kind of try to help families and funeral directors. So, and I'm always happy to talk because I think conversation changes everything. And I'm always happy to meet up for virtual coffees or emails or, anything. So just reach out if you got questions. I'm happy to help.
Awesome. We're so glad you're here. So Christian, I'm going to give you the last word, friend.
So I want to just thank everyone for watching this week. I want to thank Tamara for taking the time to join us. We were talking offline. I think we're going to try to have her write a blog post for us as well, share a little more about the funeral industry, and how people in digital marketing can work on that. Phil, thanks again for just being an awesome co-host.
Thanks, buddy.
And we have a great show lined up, by the way, for next week. Next week, we're going to have Fiona Birch on at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be next Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is actually also, by the way, she's also there. Actually, I think we have her. Sorry, Fiona Lucas. Sorry. So we're going to have Fiona on next week, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I want to thank everybody who's watched with us this morning. And we're going to have a blog post recap that goes out tomorrow. Just, again, sign up for the email list. I'll send you all a notification with everything, with the links to the show, everything we talk about, as well as some additional tools and articles. But thanks a lot for joining. We will see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Thank
Tamara.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.